Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome to our podcast series Zamzam Capital. I hope you like and subscribe to our videos and share the content with your well wishes. Our topic today is Halal List of Zamzam Capital. Why is it so different and what is special about it? So as you know, our website zamzam-capital.com lists our halal list that we put out at the end of every quarter. After screening through a list of shares on the National Stock Exchange, NSE, with a market cap greater than 500 crores, all the shares that we deem to be Shariah compliant, that is our Shariah board deems to be Shariah compliant, are mentioned there, and one can freely benefit from this list. We don't charge anything for that service. Alhamdulillah, as you know, we are a SEBI Registered Research Analyst as well, which we use to offer recommendations on stocks from this halal list for those who wish to subscribe to those products. So why is a halal list special? Now, one of the key reasons why a halal list is different is because we go very deep into our understanding of the business model of each company while determining its permissibility in the light of Sharia. So what I mean by that, at one level, we do a general screening. We use a software, we screen through, we have our formulas, we have our ratios, etc., and do an initial screen. But that is where a lot of other Sharia screening providers stop their screening process, and they run a formula. They probably do a screening for all the markets in the world. So, just put all the stocks there, all the financials are available, everything is online. You run it through that software, you get the list of shares halal as per the criteria you've defined. But that isn't enough, is what I'm saying, because we have to go through various layers of understanding the business model of that company. And I'll provide you some examples and show you why, not only in this video, but in subsequent videos, we'll talk about various cases. We'll talk about each company as to why we've excluded this, and look at their business model, look at their website, look at their financials, etc. So that's why our, screening criteria is different. And, we are very happy to present this to you. So for instance, we have our Sharia screening criteria. We have 6 screening criteria. We list that on our website, and we follow the criteria followed by Mufti Taqi Usmani Saab, Damat Barakatuhum, and that's listed on our website. For instance, I'll mention that to you again. The first thing we look at is the business of the company. It should not be in any impermissible business activity, and we all know the impermissible activities that they're not supposed to be doing. Then we look at the debt to total assets ratio, which should be lesser than 33% for it to be included in our halal list. So the greater the interest-bearing debt, if it crosses 33% of total assets, it's excluded. Then we look at non-compliant investment to total asset ratio. That also should be lesser than 33%. Then we look at impermissible income, primarily interest income to total revenue, which should be less than 5%. Then the fifth ratio we look at is non-liquid assets should be at least 20% of total assets. And the other thing, the final criteria, is the market cap should be greater than the net liquid assets. All right. So the definitions of these are given on our website. One can take a look at that. And that's how we screen. But that's the first layer of our screening. And then we look at the shares that come out of these after filtering through these 6 criteria. Case by case, we look at their business models. We look at their website. We look at their financials to understand whether we are missing anything there that is Sharia non-compliant, so that we can exclude them from our list. And also, sometimes we might think that something is really non-compliant, where in fact it is compliant. And we'll talk about that as well. So having said that, we'll talk about some specifics on our halal list. And we do it every quarter, as mentioned. Our Sharia board meets, and the findings are presented to them. They discuss cases where the non-compliance needs to be understood by our team. We bring it up to our Sharia board, and they take a decision whether that is compliant or not. And we've defined certain parameters, qualitative parameters about the business model that needs to be looked at. But from time to time, we get new cases that come in. For instance, there was a company that came in the last quarter that makes apps. Their job is to make apps. And we found out that, they make apps on various types of businesses, and they sell it to, they white label it, they sell it to you. You could use their apps. So one of the apps they had was for a liquor app, where you could purchase liquor online. Clearly, that's not compliant. But just that one app, right, made their entire, business not compliant for us, for our Sharia board. So you'll find in our halal list certain sugar companies excluded. Why is that? Because certain sugar companies, we found out, also make their own brand of liquor. So that might be a small part of their revenue, but since they're making their own liquor, we don't use the 5% test there. They're making and marketing their own brand of liquor and selling that in the market. So we're not talking about ethanol and other industrial spirits here. We're talking about their own liquor, which is to be consumed. You'll also find certain IT companies are not on our list because the Shariah board believes that if greater than 5% of your income, of the IT company income, is coming from the banking and financial sector and insurance sector, BFSI that is known as, and if the work that's been done for those BFSI clients relates to the core banking system of those banks or insurance companies, their core software through which their business runs, that would make it non-compliant to have such IT companies on our list, right? So you will find certain IT companies, quite a few are excluded, but some are there who are not, for instance, doing work on the core banking system, but are, doing work related to the cloud or data centers, etc. You'll also find defense companies are not on our list because our Shariah board has taken a principle that because present defense industry is, as a nature, defense is permitted activity, defense armaments, etc. Present day and age, the companies that are into defense make such armaments that do not discriminate between innocent women and children in the battlefield, right? So it's more for ethical reasons that we've excluded this. But there is a link between ethics and Sharia. Everything that's ethical is by nature Sharia compliant. So one of the things that we also did was do some physical inspection to certify some of the companies that were on our halal list to determine whether to keep them on the list or not. And one example I'm going to give you is a company called Godrej Agrovit, which is into primarily into animal feed and crop protection type products. But they also have a meat business called Godrej Tyson Foods, which makes chicken, fresh chicken, and called Real Good Chicken, and also a frozen chicken under the brand name Yummies. So it's a Godrej business, very well-known business. So I took it upon myself to actually physically verify this. So I went to a supermarket in Bangalore and saw their products, and the key thing I was looking for was whether the word halal is mentioned on their packaging. But they're not bothered about the fact that they're not mentioning it. Clearly indicates that they're not halal. So we decided to remove this company, though it met all the 6 criteria for screening and the business itself is perfectly fine. But because we went to that level of detail, we excluded that company from our halal list. So that's the way we define our list. And, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, there are certain things we felt as a team were doubtful from a Sharia point of view, but our Sharia board felt that they are permissible. And I'll list some of those examples for you because that just shows you the importance of having well-experienced Sharia board with scholars who've got the practical experience, and combining that with my own background in investment banking, in actual Islamic banking work experience. So that really helped in coming up with this level of detail. So we brought the concern to our Sharia board whether we could include hotels, where hotels, not restaurants, hotels where you stay. A lot of the hotels in India, most of them, they serve liquor in their restaurants. Room service, etc. So that's what did our Sharia board think of that? They said it's fine. That activity is wrong, but we can include hotels in our halal list because the percentage of income coming from liquor would be a small, minuscule percentage. Similarly, we discussed food delivery companies where they would also be delivering food that's not permitted, not halal, to their customers. But this was permitted by Sharia board because they are just the main activity is delivering food, and they're not responsible for the food that's being made. Cooked. Then we also spoke about jewelry companies where they have run certain gold installment plans where you subscribe to those plans, the customers, and they get 1 month free or they get another benefit. And inshallah, we'll do another video on this later on that talks about these gold installment schemes in detail because many of them are not halal. Some could be, but most of them, because the benefit is being provided by the jeweler. So whether we could in jewelry companies into our list because most of them have these gold installment plans. Our Sharia board ruled that the main activity, what they say in Urdu, the bunyadi activity, the foundational activity of the jewelry business is perfectly halal. And there's no way of quantifying this type of revenue in terms of comparing it to the overall revenue of the business. So we include those in our list as well. So just to give you a short and gist of how our list is put together to a lot of effort and how we're very proud of what we're doing. And inshallah, we look forward to your comments. How we could, if you're missing anything, if you could make it better, do definitely let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And kindly, again, share, subscribe, and like this video. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.